going to go ahead and hop into this Rams at Seahawks matchup, though. This is the first road division game for the Rams this year as they will head to Seattle. This is a 1:25 p.m. Los Angeles time kickoff. The game will be on Fox if you are interested to see if you guys will be able to watch this game. Make sure you guys head over to the RamsShowcase Facebook page. I did share the distribution map there, or you can look at it yourself too. I don't like cornering the market or anything here. You can just Google like NFL distribution map and go to like, I think it's like 506 Sports. Maybe that's the name of the site. And they post all the distribution maps, and they update them very regularly when anything changes. But for a quick one, just go ahead and hop over to the RamsShowcase Facebook page and check it out there. See if you're in the area. The majority, the biggest little slice of that pie that's going to be seeing the Eagles game. So not the biggest area for Rams at Seahawks. The Rams are favored in this game by 7. The line did open at 7.5, but has been sitting pretty steady at 7. Sam Rosen and Rondé Barber will be on the call in Seattle on Sunday. There's a high of 57. It looks like at kickoff we'll be at about 56 degrees, and at the end of the game we'll be sitting at about 55. So nothing too crazy, and it doesn't look like rain for this game. So if you guys are going to the game, should be a pretty nice one. Shouldn't be too crazy. It's not going to be overly cold. Maybe you LA guys might think that's overly cold, but mid-50s, that's pretty solid. I think mid-50s is really comfortable. So we got that there. Let's just some notes for you guys. Cairo Santos is expected to make the start at kicker for the Rams. We had already mentioned that earlier in the show. Michael Kendricks, linebacker, newly acquired of the Seattle Seahawks, is suspended indefinitely. That did get announced. His insider trading, that's what did him in. So Michael Kendricks not playing for probably a little while. I'll just say that. And his overall winnings, much under what he was making under his NFL contract. So not a good play, Michael Kendricks. Also, linebacker news for the Seahawks. KJ Wright will not play in this game, so he is out, and that is big news when you tie it to Kendricks also. Former Rams safety Mo Alexander did sign with the Seattle Seahawks, has spent time with the Seahawks before, and he will be taking over for Earl Thomas, it looks like. The Legion of Boom is now done. That is it for the Legion of Boom. Earl Thomas was the last remaining member of the Seattle Seahawks LOB. And now it is done. So R.I.P. LOB. It's been real. It's been so real. Also, fun note here: the Seahawks worked out quarterback Paxton Lynch, and I say it like that because this is it's kind of a joke in a way. I mean, it's not a joke. This is a real thing that happened. They did work out Paxton Lynch, but I say it like that because I think if there's one thing you want to look at to see how the Seahawks season is going, they worked out Paxton Lynch. That's how the Seahawks season is going. All right. Also here in a more serious note, Seahawks owner Paul Allen says that his non-Hodgkin's lymphoma has returned, but that his doctors are optimistic. So, rivalry aside, all of us over here at Sports War Radio definitely got Paul Allen in our thoughts and hoping that he is good to go. So I hate to see anything like that. It's just really rough to see. So rivalry aside, for those 3 hours on Sunday, we will not be pulling for any Seahawks. But for Paul Allen, definitely hope he's going to be okay. Let's take a look at the matchup in this one. We got the Rams defense versus the Seattle Seahawks, or the Rams offense versus the Seattle Seahawks defense. So the Rams first in offense right now. They've been lighting it up, and it's been a lot of fun. And if you haven't seen or heard the first quarter review, then make sure you guys check that out on YouTube or wherever you listen to the podcast. There is both forms of that. There's a video form of it and just an audio form of it. So whatever you prefer. If you're driving around, maybe don't go video. All right? I don't want to participate in any dangerous activities as far as driving goes. Don't watch me. Just listen and watch the road. The Seahawks defense, though, does rank 7th, so not a terrible defense, but the Rams offense is just monstrous. So I think it's going to be tough for them. Passing the football, the Rams are 2nd in the league. The Seahawks defense is 5th. Running the football, the Rams rank 7th. The Seahawks defense ranks 27th. So for you fantasy players out there, I don't think that anybody was considering benching Todd Gurley for this game, but don't, for sure. Don't do that at all. Let me see here. This is the Seahawks offense versus the Rams defense. The Seahawks offense ranks 28th overall. The Rams defense 9th. Passing the football, the Seahawks are 29th in the league, and the Rams rank 15th. So middle of the road there. I would like to see that number bumped up a little bit. That is like the low end of the number spectrum for the Rams in all their rankings is their 15th against the pass. But they're 4-0. So, I mean, it's okay, really. And running the football, the Seahawks rank 17th, and the Rams defense ranks 5th. I think a big part of this, because the Rams are giving up a very high yards per carry average, I think a big part of this, though, is that teams just don't really have the chance to run on us, especially late in the game. I think, well, I can't remember the number exactly. I think it's like 86 yards a game that the Rams are giving up on the ground. And that's not just like a player. Yeah, that's the whole team. So Rams doing really awesome against the run right now. And I think the Seahawks are going to have a lot of trouble with that. Some other matchups to watch here. We got Doug Baldwin and Brandon Marshall versus Marcus Peters, NRC, and Sam Shields. NRC is Nickel Roby-Coleman, if you guys are unfamiliar. But Marcus Peters, he did look, I don't even know how to word this. He didn't look 100% on Thursday night. I'll put it that way. He did not look 100%. He was giving up catches. He was kind of falling behind a little bit, but he was still out there. And his toughness level, I think we all know that he's a super tough guy, and he was getting it done, but he did give up some touchdowns, stuff like that. It was one touchdown. I know that he just kind of was just not in position, and probably could have gotten an interception if he was in position, but he just wasn't. But I think that this week, with the long break, I think that Marcus Peters will look a lot better this week. And Nickel Roby-Coleman and Sam Shields, I mean, we know what they've been doing. But the Rams, again, 15th against the pass, so I'd like to see them step up and really just shut that down. One thing that will help this pass defense, though, is if the Rams can start getting home more against going against the quarterback. So the Rams did have 4 sacks against Kirk Cousins and the Vikings. I'd like to see that again, especially with a very poor offensive line in the Seattle Seahawks. And that's my next matchup, is the entire Seahawks offensive line versus the entire Rams defensive line / pass rush. So, I mean, the Rams defensive line, we know what the defensive line looks like. Ndamukong Suh, Aaron Donald, Michael Brockers, 3 studs. The edge rushers, I'm not impressed. I'll just put it out there, I'm really not impressed by these edge rushers. I think that Samson Ebukam, he's got a high motor, he's not getting home. And I don't think he's doing enough to get home. You got Matt Longacre. I think that this might be the worst Matt Longacre has ever been in the NFL. And I'm not just trying to take shots here, they're just not getting it done. And there's no soft way to put that. The edge rushers for the Rams are not getting it done. So I would really like to see that really bump up this week and have those edge rushers come in. In a few weeks, it looks like the Rams could get Ogbonnaya Okoronkwo back, so that'll be a big help, maybe, because he's a rookie and we still haven't seen him on an NFL field yet, so we don't know how he's going to be. Looking back at the history of him and what he did in college, it looks like he's going to probably be an upgrade at the edge rusher position. But if we're doing this now, and I'm doing it, I'm just going to put it out there. Rams go edge rusher in with their first pick, and I'm not even going to say first round because Sean McVay hasn't even had a first round pick since he's been the Rams coach. So that's almost exciting because, like, who are we going to get? Like, this guy's probably going to be amazing. So we'll see. But I'm already saying it. Edge rusher, first round pick. So that's what the Rams are doing. Or not, for their first pick. I'll put it that way. One interesting matchup to watch here that I'm really excited to keep an eye on, and I'm probably going to be watching this matchup more than I'm watching anything else, Andrew Whitworth versus Frank Clark. Frank Clark is an awesome pass rusher, and we all know what Andrew Whitworth can do. Andrew Whitworth, of course, had that terrible give up of the sack against the Vikings, against Everson Griffin's backup, but Frank Clark's a very good pass rusher, so I'm interested to see how Andrew Whitworth kind of handles Frank Clark, because Clark is strong. He's a strong guy who can bend and get around that corner. So Andrew Whitworth does have his work cut out for him in this game, and I'm very excited to watch that one. With KJ Wright out, it looks like Austin Calitro will start, but also that means that we're probably going to see a decent amount of Shaquem Griffin, which, if you guys don't know his story, first of all, open a book or turn on the internet every once in a while, or watch TV even. He's all over TV, he's all over the internet. His story is incredible, absolutely. There's no denying his story, but we should see a decent amount of Shaquem Griffin this week. Shaquille Griffin and Trey Flowers against the Rams wide receivers. This one, I don't want to sound like I'm overly cocky here, but I do not think that Shaquille Griffin and Trey Flowers can hang with the Rams wide receivers. The three top guys. So you got Brandon Cooks, you got Robert Woods, and you got Cooper Kupp. I don't think either of these guys can really handle that. We'll kind of see how it plays out, and I'm sure they'll have their good plays, and I'm sure that they'll do a decent job at certain points of the game. But overall, over the whole 60 minutes, over the whole course of the 4 quarters, I think the Rams wide receivers are going to eat this week. But like I had mentioned before, the Seahawks defense does rank 27th against the run, so I think we could see a lot of that. I think we're going to see a lot of screens, a lot of short passes, trying to get some openings going, but 5th against the pass for the Seahawks defense, so I think we're going to have to try to get a little bit more creative, but I guess that kind of sounds weird that I'm saying like these corners can't cover the Rams, but they're really good in pass coverage. That doesn't make a lot of sense. What I'm saying is, matchup-wise, Shaquille Griffin and Trey Flowers singly do not match up well with the Rams wide receivers. So then that's kind of that is my point. Some players to watch for you guys. Tyler Lockett can take it to the house at any time. He's the kick returner and punt returner for the Seahawks, so that's going to be a tough one. I think Johnny Hekker probably had the worst game of his career against the Minnesota Vikings. Just wasn't really getting the full boot on it felt like. So I would like to see Johnny Hekker put some more pressure on the punt returner, especially in a guy like Tyler Lockett, to limit his ability to return. Russell Wilson, we know Russell Wilson. We know Russell Wilson real well if you're a Rams fan. Of course, the Rams do kind of sack the crap out of Russell Wilson, but he's a playmaker, and he can get it done at any given time. So Russell Wilson is absolutely a player to watch. And then my third one for the Seahawks is Frank Clark. I'm a fan of Frank Clark. You guys can hate me for that all you want to, but I think Frank Clark is an outstanding player. And if the Rams had a chance to get him, I would be over the top excited. I think Frank Clark is awesome. Some players to watch for the Rams. JoJo Natson is expected to make his return this week at kick returner and punt returner. This dude's shifty, so I mean that's going to be a good thing that the Rams' third-string kick returner is coming back. Obviously, having some troubles there as far as the injuries go to the kick returner spot. Todd Gurley, obviously, he's a player to watch every week. He's a player to watch when he's at home sitting on his couch eating Doritos. He's just exciting in everything he does. I'm pretty sure that he's just... he could have his own reality show where he does absolutely nothing and he just like drives around and he goes and picks up like Chewy Chips Ahoy from the store, and I would be into it. I'd watch the crap out of that, absolutely. And then Aaron Donald. I think Aaron Donald kind of, he had his career high in pressures against the Vikings in week 4, and he got his first 2 sacks of the season. I think Aaron Donald now has been like unlocked. I think that this is going to be where we really see Aaron Donald explode, especially because, like I mentioned it before, the Seahawks offensive line is not very good. So I think that this is a very huge opportunity for guys like Aaron Donald to really just kind of explode a little bit on some Russell Wilson. It's going to be not necessarily track meet because it's just a quarterback, but he is a mobile guy, so these guys are going to be chasing him down a lot. So short series are going to be very important for the Rams in this game. Let's take a look at the history of this matchup. All time, the Seahawks do lead the series 23-17. So only 17 wins for the Rams against the Seahawks in their lifetime. And the last 5, the Rams are 3-2. So the Rams have been kind of handling their business a little bit. And then, of course, there was like the loss last year to the Seahawks. So the Rams really should be 4-1, but they're not. They're 3-2. The most recent game, what a fun day that was. December 17th, 2017, it was a 42-7 victory for the Los Angeles Rams. The very first game between these two came on Halloween of 1976. It was a 45-6 win for the Los Angeles Rams. Only one playoff matchup between these two. That was on January 8th of 2005. The Rams did win that one 27-20. And I remember this one very vividly because I had to start the game. I was listening to it because I was driving around. I was in 2005, so I was 14 years old. I'm driving around with my mom, and I begged her to put the game on the radio so that I could know what was going on until we could get home. And I just remember being so excited. I'm like banging on the roof of the van as I was going absolutely nuts for this game. But I remember it so vividly because the Rams swept the Seahawks that year and then played them in the playoffs and won again. So 3 wins in one season for the Rams against the Seahawks, and that was it for me. I was so excited. I was a very happy kid at that time. Very happy 14-year-old Rams fan. The total points scored, the Seahawks have scored 854, and the Rams have put up 793 against the Seahawks. So Seahawks do have the lead there as well. The longest streak, this is a little jarring almost. The Rams' longest streak is 4 games. They did that between 76 and 88, and then again between 2003 and 2005. In that 2005 being those 3 straight wins. The Seahawks' longest streak was 10, and after that playoff loss, they started their streak till 2009 that the Rams did not beat them in those 4 seasons. So rough stretch there, but the Rams have kind of gotten it back, you know. So that's good news there. And then of course, I mean, we know that the 2009 was when that streak ended. So that means Bradford's rookie season there in 2010 is when that streak was snapped. And of course we snapped it, but then week 17 lost to them, lost the division, got second place while the Seahawks went to 7-9, winning the division, and then went on to beat the Saints. It was absolutely insane. But that could have been us, you know what I mean? I'll never forgive Charlie Whitehurst. 2 games of this series have gone into overtime, that is all, and the Rams did win both of those. And then just a quick little recap of the standings heading into week 5. The Rams are 4-0, Seahawks sitting in second place at 2-2. The Niners at 1-3, don't expect much more from them this year, especially with C.J. Beathard as their quarterback, and the Arizona Cardinals sitting at 0-4. I would be surprised if the Cardinals win 3 games this year, so I'm not too concerned with them. I think that right now, if you're looking between Rams and Cardinals, I don't think that the Cardinals would even catch the Rams if the Rams didn't win another game this year. I really just don't see the Cardinals doing a whole lot. San Fran, I think, can maybe get to 5 or 6. Seahawks are kind of like a little bit of a wild card team, I guess, but like not in a playoff sense. Just a wild card team is like you don't know whether they're going to win it week in and win it week out. But I'm almost starting to feel like the Rams could be the only above 500 team in the NFC West. This division's just really not looking that strong. So that does it for the matchup. And on the other side, hey guys, thanks for checking out the YouTube video. Make sure you guys check out the full episode if you are interested for the fan cases and everything we talked about before the Rams and Seahawks matchup. I'll drop a link in the description below. I'll also drop links to all the social media. That's at RamsShowcase on Instagram and Twitter, at SheriffJoeBags on Instagram and Twitter, Facebook.com/RamsShowcase, Facebook.com/SheriffJoeBags. Tonight, I don't actually have a hint for you guys for this week's trivia question because I don't have a trivia question yet. So make sure you guys keep an eye out. I will drop one on my personal Facebook. When I do have a question, I'll drop one hint. But just know that these questions are getting harder. I want to stump you guys. I haven't stumped you guys since like 2016, I think. So these questions are going to get much harder, and I'm very excited about it. So I'll do some research for you guys, and I'll drop a hint somewhere that you guys will be able to find. Maybe I'll tweet it at SheriffJoeBags. I'll just tweet something subtle, and you guys will know that that's the hint. All right. Thanks for checking out the video, guys.